What? What is that? What is that? What is going on? How am I supposed to review this? Oh, come on! Fooly Cooly was made by Studio Gainax, the same studio behind Evangelion and Gurren Lagann, so you know this shit's gonna get weird. The show follows Naota, a self-proclaimed ordinary kid living in an ordinary city. Except for, of course, the giant iron in the middle of the city that lets off steam every once in a while like an abusive spouse. But just ignore that. Everything is normal. Naota's favorite pastimes include sulking, not going to school, and getting molested by his big brother's ex-girlfriend, which admittedly for an anime is kind of normal. Segue to a yellow Vespa, which are two different methods of transportation, and a mysterious pink-haired girl shows up out of seemingly nowhere and hits Naota with said Vespa, killing him instantly. Oh wait, this is an anime. Never mind, he's good. Better rev up my chainsaw guitar and beat him in the f***ing head, says the psychotic pink-haired girl. But apparently neither heaven nor hell want this kid because he survives with nothing more than a dick on his forehead to show for it. Just go with it. After the attempted murder, the pink-haired girl Haruko decides to stalk the kid, like you do, and ends up working for Naota's family and sleeping in his room. Eventually, the episode comes to a head. When out of seemingly nowhere, two giant robots force their way out of Naota's skull, like a more horrifying version of the chestbursters from Alien. And that's where our story begins. What? It is. Now, like I said, this show is far from normal. It's like what would happen if Sid Vicious, Ozzy Osbourne, and Andy Warhol all got together, took a bunch of hallucinogens, and wrote an anime about which color they thought tasted best. Now, does that mean it's bad? Far from it. The show is fast-paced, action-packed hilarity, and it even manages to squeeze in a few really touching moments in its mere 6-episode run. The animation style is inconsistent, and that is awesome. It changes without a moment's notice from generic anime to motion comic manga, to action-packed and well-detailed, and then suddenly to South Park. It's random, it's funny, it's engaging. And for a show that seems to be an allegory about sex and puberty, I'm surprised at just how few fucks it actually gives. It references everything, from Initial D and Lupin to Elvis and Hamtaro, while still being completely original and creative in its own right. It's really hard to rate the animation on this series, seeing as how it moves so fast that any little slip-up can be seen as completely intentional, or missed entirely. The audio, on the other hand, can be rated much easier. I won't talk much about the voice acting because honestly, in my opinion, there's just not much to say. If you ask me, the sub is just superior. The dub, in my opinion, has its problems. It has some timing issues, and I never really thought the voices fit anyways. So, if you have the option and you don't mind reading, go ahead and just try the sub. The music, however, is in my opinion one of the best in any anime series ever. It fluctuates between sad, melancholy, poppy, and my personal favorite, upbeat punk. The outro song is awesome. It's high octane. It opens with this awesome guitar riff. Same one at the beginning of this video. It's great. It's one of the few songs I have on every single anime playlist in my collection. Coupled with the animation at the end and the live action Vespa scene, it really sets the tone for this show without shoving it straight down your throat. As far as characters, we have our lead, Naota, a punk high school kid who lives at home with his lecherous grandfather and father and seems to fear both women and emotions. So, you know, Shinji. Also, he has a dick on his head that sometimes turns into robots. Next up is Mom Mimi, Naota's older brother's ex-girlfriend who's obsessed with fire, video games, and oh yeah, molesting young boys. Then we have this guy who I'm just gonna go ahead and call Captain Eyebrows, and he's after Haruko because his eyebrows told him to. Something history spoilers. And lastly, we have Haruko herself, the pink-haired girl with the chainsaw guitar and yellow Vespa. She shows up seemingly with the sole purpose to fuck up Naota's life and jack up his future therapy bills. There are a few other auxiliary characters as well, like Naota's brother, but most of them either kind of fade into the background or just never show up. Like Naota's brother. As far as plot goes, I am thoroughly convinced that no matter how hard I tried, I could not spoil this thing. It's not because there isn't a plot, because technically there is. It's more about the fact that the plot in the grand scheme of things doesn't really matter. The show isn't about plot, it's about entertainment. And on that note, it hits very well. Each episode is a concise event, but that's not to say it's episodic, because it's not. Each episode is connected in some way, but if you just watch the first episode without any context, you would be just as confused as if you watched the last episode without any context. And honestly, even though it might not sound like it, that makes this show amazingly entertaining. A friend of mine once said that he went into the show 6 different times with 6 different perspectives. And each time he got a different feeling at the end. And I don't think there's a better way to put it. This show can be comedy, it can be action, it can be adventure, it can be romance, it can be mystery, or it can just be random as all hell. It's up to you. the viewer to decide what it is. And I think that's exactly the point. This is one of a very small list of animes that relies on the viewer to decide what it was about. And I think that's the idea behind it, because I really don't believe that there was a point to it initially. I think it was always up to the viewer to decide. It was always up to the viewer to interpret it the way they wanted to. Not like Ava. Never like Ava. Now I'm realizing that this entire review is sounding like one giant contradiction, but I think that's the point. This whole entire show is just kind of confusing fun, really. I want to just gush about it because of how much I genuinely enjoyed this show. But that wouldn't be a review. That would be fanboying. So instead I'll just list the pros and cons as I see them and let you decide for yourself. First off, this show is fun in its purest form. It's quick in every sense of the word, nonsensical, and hilarious. But above all else, it's unique. It also has little character development, barely any plot, and only 6 episodes. Make no mistake here, if you're looking for a show that's going to give you the feels and you're going to get a character you can connect with, this is not the show you're looking for. Unless, of course, you're made entirely out of attention deficit disorder and pixie sticks. Also, from a personal perspective, this show left me wanting more. So what we're left here is a story that has basically no plot, and characters that are almost entirely unrelatable outside of maybe Naota. So how do we rate this? I've thought about this a lot, and I've come to the conclusion that there's really no way to properly rate Fooly Cooly. And I know that sounds like a cop-out, because partially, it is. I mean, sure, there are some animes that have comparative styles to it, like Gurren Lagann or Kill la Kill. And there's some shows that even come close to the same randomness, like Famufu or Excel Saga. But none of these seem to hit these notes quite the same way, or quite as well. So instead of giving it a rating, I'm just gonna say this. Watch it. It's 2 hours of your life and an experience that I believe every anime fan needs to go through at least once. The show is currently on Funimation's YouTube channel for 100% free, so you don't even need a Netflix or a Crunchyroll account to check it out. Hell, I'll even put the link in the description for you. You know what? No, never mind. Here, click my face. Just click my face and it'll send you right to the entire playlist. There. Now you have no excuses. You don't even have to look in the description. Just click my face. Just click it. Don't go into the show with all these super high expectations, thinking that it's genre changing or that it formed anime. Just go in there expecting to have fun, and you won't be disappointed. And if you enjoyed this video, hit that like and subscribe button, check out my other videos, and comment down below. And before anybody mentions it, I'm sorry, I know this post is really late. Been sick for a while, but that's no excuse. Anyways, I'm gonna try to get 2 up this week, and I'm gonna be doing some other stuff that I'll be posting here on the channel as well. Thanks for watching, guys. It's a new thing I'm trying to... Alright. See. Don't... What is... I don't know, it's my thing now.